There's a new beat in town. Welcome to Bullet and Flight Music Store, your premier spot for music, books, and one-of-a-kind novelties. Looking to treat yourself or find a unique gift for the music lover in your life? We make it easy. In fact, you can start your collection today for as low as 44 cents. That's right, world-class finds for less than a cup of coffee. Visit us online at bulletinflightmusic.myshopify.com. Plus, keep the conversation going 24/7 with Bullet in Flight Radio on Podbean. Bullet in Flight. Find your rhythm, find your soul.
Each year, San Francisco alone spends $40,000 on each formerly homeless person.
In March of 2019, there was an estimate of 63,000 homeless in New York alone.
20 of homeless people in the United States are younger than 18.
53% of homeless people inside the U.S. are found in California.
Each year, an additional 3.5 million people become homeless.
What will you do to help?
She's been crying. soles of her feet. She can't walk, but she's trying. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, it's just another day for you and me in paradise. Just think about it. Oh Lord, is there nothing more anybody can do? Oh Lord, there must be something you can say. You can tell from the lines on her face. You can see that she's been there, probably been moved on from every place, 'cause she didn't fit in there. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, it's just another day for you and me in paradise. Just think about it. Think about it. It's just another day for you and me in paradise. It's just another day for you and me in paradise. Paradise. Ooh, just think about it. Paradise. Just think about it.
What's up, everyone? This is DJ B, and you're listening to Bullet in Flight Radio, your story, our station, the best progressive Christian network in the world.
Welcome back to Bullet in Flight Radio, your story, our station. Today, I'm bringing you an adapted reading inspired by Chapter 4 of In the World Around You by Just Dominic, presented by Bullet and Flight Music, LLC. And the chapter asks a question that sounds simple, almost harmless, until you sit with it for a moment. Is this another day in paradise? Because if this is paradise, then why does it feel like so many people are barely breathing under the weight of it? Why does it feel like the word blessed gets used to cover up the fact that folks are breaking? Today is about the polished surface and the bruises underneath it. It's about prestige and pressure, and the quiet deals we make just to keep appearances looking neat. So let me start where a lot of modern life starts, the chase. People grinding themselves into dust for the image. Working overtime, taking on more hours, more stress, more debt, just to keep the bills paid and the bank off their back. Making payments so foreclosure doesn't snatch the house right out from under them. And all of it just to stay in those neighborhoods with the manicured lawns and the unspoken rules. Corporate hills, suburban pride, the kind of place where folks wave at you but don't really see you. Is this another day in paradise? And then you step onto the road, the commute, That daily ritual where everybody's trapped inside their own life, sealed up in metal and glass, with a clock yelling at them from the dashboard. And you can feel the rage out there, can't you? Not just impatience, not just someone running late. It's deeper. It's the kind of anger that comes from having no control anywhere else. So it leaks out on the freeway. It turns into horns and cuts and reckless moves. And all it takes is one moment for it to become a wreck that changes somebody's whole future. Evening rush hour, senseless accidents. Is this another day in paradise? Then there's the girl everybody notices. The one people talk about like she's a trophy, like she's a standard. The most beautiful out of the last few graduating classes. The kind of beauty that pulls attention even when she's trying to be invisible. Folks study her clothes, her hair, her style, the way she walks. She's admired, copied, chased. People think she's got it all figured out. But behind that perfect look is a secret that's tearing her apart. A quiet war with food and control and shame. A private ritual she plans like it's just another appointment. She smiles through dinner because she knows what comes after. And even in her own home, she's managing expectations, trying to keep her parents pleased, trying to keep the picture intact. It's a dark kind of discipline that nobody applauds because nobody knows it's there. Is this another day in paradise? Now picture a young woman in a grocery store, not shopping for luxury, not chasing trends, just buying diapers for her baby. She's doing what she's supposed to do. She heads for the checkout line, probably thinking about what else they need at home, probably counting dollars in her head the way so many parents do. And then it happens. A stray bullet. Chaos that doesn't ask permission. A robbery gone wrong. And she becomes collateral damage in somebody else's crime. And then the twist hits even harder. The police find out the baby's father was the mastermind behind it. Imagine that. The person who should have protected them was the one who set the trap. Is this another day in paradise? Let's keep walking through this township of status, because there are more stories hiding behind the nice curtains. Here's a woman begging her husband for attention. Not money, not gifts, not a bigger house. Just to be noticed, to be loved in a way that makes her feel like she still matters. But he'd rather slip off with his friends. He'd rather laugh outside the home than build something inside it. So she reaches for what doesn't talk back, what numbs quickly, a bottle with a familiar label. Jack Daniels becomes the companion that doesn't ignore her. Is this another day in paradise? And down another street, there's a woman with one man after another. People judge her, but they don't always ask what she's running from. The streets have a way of turning pain into routine. And when the hurt is deep enough, numbness starts to feel like survival. She's got coke in her system, her heart carrying wounds she can't name out loud. She's found a method that keeps her moving, even if it's destroying her. And sometimes, the only thing keeping her alive is not even joy, but the idea that maybe tomorrow could be different. That hope, thin as a thread, still holds. Is this another day in paradise? Then there's him, a man shaped by trauma before he even had a chance, a victim of sexual abuse. And when something like that happens early enough, it can twist the meaning of love, the meaning of power, the meaning of women, the meaning of self. And instead of healing, he inherits a pattern. He turns into what he has been taught to become, a pimp, a player, a mind game specialist, trained by mentors who call poison game and call exploitation hustle. And the saddest part is how familiar it feels, like destiny repeating itself, like he's walking the same road his father walked. Is this another day in paradise? So when we step back and look at all this, it becomes hard to pretend everything is fine. Our lives can be filled with emotional tragedy and personal sacrifice, and we learn how to hide it so well. But if we could find our center, if we could find something steady inside all this motion, then maybe that would be paradise. Not the gated version, not the glossy version, the real kind. Peace, balance, truth. But the chapter doesn't stop with personal stories. It points higher, to the systems above us that keep the pressure on. It talks about a land of trouble, a place where power wears uniforms you can recognize even from a distance. First come the gray suits, The ones who write rules as if people are just pieces on a board. Gray suits deciding who eats and who struggles. Gray suits choosing who gets lifted up and who gets pushed out. And the coldest part? They don't really see faces. They see numbers, metrics, profit margins, risk assessments, as if human lives can be totaled up like columns on a spreadsheet. They move through the world like their blood forgot how to warm up, like empathy is a language they never learned. In this land of trouble, that's who calls the shots. Then there are the blue blazers, the ones who pride themselves on process, procedures, regulations, policies that sound neutral until you realize they were designed to keep success flowing in one direction. The blue blazers who don't lose sleep over the common person, because the common person isn't on their radar. They stay focused on plans that look official on paper but feel fraudulent in real life. And while the rest of us try to survive, they refine the machine that squeezes us. That's the land of trouble too. And then you've got the corporate slacks, manipulating stocks and investments like it's a casual sport. A game with winners and losers, except the losers are families. They hide behind smoke screens, toss around meaningless statements, talk in circles until truth feels tired. They deny economic drought while folks are watching their own wells dry up. And when it's time to report what happened, they rewrite the numbers to make themselves look stronger, more powerful, more deserving of applause. That's the land of trouble. And after that come the shirts and ties, the ones who recruit and employ power like a private army. They crown themselves like gods of the era, as if authority means moral superiority. They play victim when the light hits them, but behind the curtain, they're wrapped up in criminality, secret laws, covered up murders, fraud, scandals. And it's not just that they commit wrong, it's that they build a society where deceit is normal, where corruption is just how things work. But even in the land of trouble, the chapter holds onto a warning and a promise. All that pride doesn't last forever. These webs they spin can't hold up under truth forever. Eventually, the structure cracks. Eventually, justice finds a way through. Maybe not on our schedule, maybe not with the speed we want, but the fall is coming for anything built on lies. And now, the chapter turns again, from systems back to individuals. It introduces just a woman. And I want you to listen closely to her story, because it sounds like the kind of life people ignore until it's too late. I met a lady on my 21st birthday. She told me she felt misunderstood, not because she wanted attention, but because she was trying so hard to rise above where she came from, trying to climb out of problems and oppression in the hood while life kept grabbing her ankle. She works 50 hours a week just to keep the rent paid. And after all that time and all that labor, she's got barely enough left to feed her kids. She doesn't even know how she's going to keep the lights on. But still, she holds on to faith. She puts her trust in God, not because it's trendy, but because it's the only thing that feels steady when everything else is uncertain. Just a woman trying to do things the right way and wondering why that still isn't enough. And then there's another layer, another story that people whisper about like gossip, but rarely handle with care. A young girl pushed into sexual exploitation early. Since she was 14, she's been dropping it like it's hot. The way the world jokes about tragedy until it sounds normal. People act like they've heard this before, like it's just another sad headline. But the ending isn't always what they assume. From the beginning, night after night, she was bought and sold, turned into a product, performing for cash until the whole thing got old and heavy and suffocating. But now there's a moment of crossroads. Because change doesn't come just because time passes. Something in the soul has to shift. Something has to be rearranged inside her. And if she doesn't move now, she may never move at all. That's not judgment. That's the reality of how traps work. The longer you stay, the more they feel like home. Then I called a woman I care about, and she'd had one of those days that feels like 3 days stacked together. Pulled in every direction. Stressed from carrying responsibilities that don't take turns. And she's been without her man for 3 long years, facing life solo, raising everything on her own shoulders. And when she talks to God, it comes out in tears, because strength doesn't mean you don't cry. It means you keep going anyway. Her prayer is simple but deep. Help us be vessels filled with virtue and light. Help us to please you. Help us not to live only by what we see right in front of us. Because when you walk by sight alone, you start believing the struggle is permanent. That woman's voice carries a question a lot of people are afraid to ask out loud. I'm trying to do it right. So why is it still so hard? What's so different about me? And then, the chapter flips the mirror completely. It takes us to a talk show, where a man sits up straight and tells the world about his job. He says he works hard, makes excellent tips. He says his clients pay well, even invite him on short trips like it's all just business, like it's normal. And then he challenges the audience. He asks for the difference between him and them. He says most people have pity on someone like him, but don't realize how many of them are living the same kind of transaction, just dressed up in nicer language. He holds his head high and calls the host a hypocrite. And then he throws a line that stings. He says most people have already sold their souls to a man named corporate. He admits he might not have health insurance, but his annual income is strong. And he says plainly, without shame, that he's an escort. He sells his body for pleasure on the street. And then he goes further, rubbing salt into the illusion. He claims he knows your type. He's been with men and women from the suburbs and exclusive hills. He says he's turned people into slaves because their marriages lost their thrills. He says they book appointments week after week and then dare to judge him when they see him. He asks, how can you condemn me when you're the one coming back? And his closing questions are meant to stay in your head. He asks, what's the difference between a liar and a fast talker? What's the difference between employment consulting and street pimping? What's the difference between a chief executive officer and a highly paid hustler? Because sometimes the only difference is the suit, the paperwork, and which side of town the deal happened on. And after all this heaviness, the chapter doesn't leave us in despair. It pivots into a push, a call to freedom, not the kind you wait for someone else to deliver, but the kind you step into on purpose. It says, forget about it. Take off the fetters. Loosen the handcuffs. Stand up. Use the talent you've been given to turn the key. Look around you and follow the examples of positive people who've learned how to break cycles instead of repeating them. Because those mind games out there, you're smarter than that. They can't keep you down unless you agree to stay down. It reminds you that you have a crossing in front of you, an ocean, a river, something wide and intimidating. And the message is simple. Start swimming. You won't drown. Not because the water isn't real, but because there's something in you that was designed to survive it. It says the secret of who you are can't be found inside industry and steel. Not in factories, not in corporate towers, not in somebody else's definition of success. You've got the ability to bleed and hurt and still stay focused. You can feel bruised and keep moving. You can be exhausted and still complete the last mile. You'll juggle your problems while you wait for solutions to arrive. But don't let waiting convince you to quit. Cry your tears if you need to. Let them fall. Because over the hill, there is a brand new day. Get off those restraints. Untie the manacle and receive your miracle. Use the genius in your fingers. Build something. Solve something. Create something. Learn from history. Because history is filled with people who were told they couldn't, and then proved otherwise. Find your emancipation. And if a trap is talking to you, if it's trying to convince you that you're stuck forever, remember this. You're sharper than the trap. They can't keep you down. The option is yours. You've got a river to cross, so start swimming. You can't drown. And yes, you might ache. You might bruise. You might feel like you're rotating the same tribulations over and over. Like life keeps replaying the same lesson. But the path can still be the right way, even when it's hard. Weep now if you must, because you've seen your last cloud. Tomorrow can be your brand new day. There's no doubt about it. Soon you'll forget all about it. This concludes the reading of Chapter 4. You've been listening to Bullet in Flight Radio. Your story, our station.
She calls out to the man on the street.
She calls out to the man on the street. He can see she's been crying. Yeah, she's got blisters on the soles of her feet. She can't walk, but she's trying. You can tell from the lines on her face. You can see that she's been there. Yeah. She's probably been moved on from every place, 'cause she didn't fit in there. Oh, think twice. Another day in paradise. Oh yeah. Think twice. 'Cause it's another day for you and me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just think about it. Ooh. Think about it. Oh yeah. It's just another day for you and me in paradise. It's just another day for you and me in paradise.
Hello everybody, this is Sue A. Webley of Carrot Solutions LLC, and you're listening to Bullet in Flight Radio, your story, our station, the best progressive Christian network in the world.
Of you in doing this says I love you, so stop fooling around. The sun is
Each year, San Francisco alone spends $40,000 on each formerly homeless person.
In March of 2019, there was an estimate of 63,000 homeless in New York alone.
20 of homeless people in the United States are younger than 18.
53% of homeless people inside the U.S. are found in California.
Each year, an additional 3.5 million people become homeless.
What will you do to help?
There's a new beat in town. Welcome to Bullet in Flight Music Store, your premier spot for music, books, and one-of-a-kind novelties. Looking to treat yourself or find a unique gift for the music lover in your life? We make it easy. In fact, you can start your collection today for as low as 44 cents. That's right, world-class finds for less than a cup of coffee. Visit us online at bulletinflightmusic.myshopify.com. Plus, keep the conversation going 24/7 with Bullet in Flight Radio on Podbean. Bullet in Flight. Find your rhythm, find your soul.
Bullet in flight, fly. Bullet in flight, fly. Bullet in flight, bullet in flight. Bullet in flight, fly. Bullet in flight, fly.
Your story, our station.